Hello. Yeah, welcome to this presentation. Now, I want to walk through one example on how to determine the yield to maturity on a bond. So here's an example from your homework. So you've been told there's a company here that has bonds uh, and they still have 20 years to maturity. The interest paid, again, this is on a yearly basis, and the bonds have a 1000 per value, which is the face value, or you can call it the principal of the bond, and the coupon rate is 13.5%. So if the price of this bond today is 1390, then what is the yield to maturity? So again, uh, the yield to maturity, again, I just want to use a timeline just to give you a perspective of what is happening here. So if I draw uh, this bond, so if I draw my timeline here, and then we know that today is at time zero, but the present value or the current price of this bond again is 1390. So we know that the bond is selling for 1390. And then so you have year one, year two, and you keep on going to 19 years and 20 years. And when this bond matures, the bond will return the face value. So you think about it, if you're the one investing in this bond, you are the investor. So you're going to give up some money today. So you're going to pay money for the bond, and how much you're going to pay for this bond is going to be $1,390. So this becomes a cash outflow. You're giving up $1,390 today. In return, what are you getting? In return, what you're getting is the bond is going to pay you interest revenue. Uh, so in this case, it's going to be on a yearly basis, but the interest revenue, you'll be getting 13.5% on the face value of the bond, and therefore 13.5% times the face value of this bond, which is 1,000. So this bond is promising to pay you $135 every year, and then at maturity the bond will pay back the face value, which is also the $1,000. So every year you'll be receiving 1,000, and because you're receiving 1,000, it's going to be a positive, so it's going to be a cash inflow. Every year you receive that. In addition, you also receive the $1,000, which again is going to be the a positive cash flow. So now we have the values. So what we need to do is, again, the best way to approach this problem in trying to determine the yield to maturity will be, again, the easy one is to use a financial calculator. If you have no access to a financial calculator, then I'll suggest that you go through this using Excel. Again, you can use the formula, but it's going to be a tedious process in trying to determine the yield to maturity by using the formula. So you're better off using the Excel or a financial calculator. So let me show you how we use Excel to determine the yield to maturity. So you'll go to Excel. So we open up our Excel document here. We're just going to increase this so that you can see the values entering. So you have so you enter into a cell, and again by formula, you can pull up the formula through Excel if you want to, but the easy one, just say this is equal to, we are looking for the rate. And then of course we open our parentheses, and then you have the options that to guide you on what you need to enter. For example, you'll see here we need to determine the number of periods. We know that we have 20 years left on this bond, and again these bonds are paying interest every year, and therefore in this case our number of periods are 20. So we have 20 years left. And in terms of payment, and that is the interest payment, this bond is paying 135. So you're going to enter $135. Again, remember this is a cash inflow. So we're just going to enter this as a positive value. And then the present value of this bond. Today, this bond is selling for 1,390, which is basically the present value of all those future cash flows. So the 1,390 represents the present value of the 135 for 20 years, and also represents the present value of the first value, the $1,000. So in this case, our present value, because it's an outflow of cash, this is what you pay for when you buy the bond. So we have minus 1,390, and then our future value, this bond at maturity, it's going to return back the face value or the principal, which is 1,000. Again, you just close your parentheses and you enter, and you find this bond is 9%. But for accuracy purposes, what I always advise is to make, because remember the question is asking us to enter our values into two decimal places. So to make it more accurate, you want to increase your decimal places from 1 to maybe you could say, I think 3 or 4 decimal places. So if the question was asking you for 2 decimal places, then what you'll do, you'll just enter 9.17%. Again, it's an easy process if you use Excel. The key idea is you need to determine what the variables are in terms of what is the present value is given to us, and we have to enter this as a negative value because that's what you pay for when you buy the bonds. It's a cash flow, it's a cash outflow, and then you'll be receiving 135 every year for 20 years, so that becomes a cash inflow. The same thing, and of course at maturity you also receive another inflow of cash, which is the face value or the principal, which is the $1,000. So again, I hope this information helps. Now keep in mind, sometimes you might be forced to make changes. In this example, we know that our interest is on a yearly basis. So if the interest, for example, here was on a semi annual basis, then what you do is you have to get a half of 35.50, then times the $1,000 to determine what the payment is going to be, and that will also change. Then your 20, so being 20 years, your total number of periods will be 2 periods per year times 20, which would be 40. But in this example, it's on a yearly basis, so we don't have to make no modifications or adjustments as far as n is concerned and as far as the payments are concerned. So let me know if you have any questions. Thank you. Bye bye.